Hello, and welcome to the Author's Den podcast, where we help authors share their message to the world. Join us as we feature unique conversations and get ready to be inspired. Now, let's get started with the show.
And now welcome the amazing Lizzie T.
Hello, and welcome everyone. I am Lizzie, you're one of the hosts of the Author's Den. How are you? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I don't know where you are in this beautiful world. I am so excited today, pumped up, and just out of this world, breathtaking, really incredible day today. And I have somebody so special to share with you today. I can't wait to share with you. I hope that you're having a great day as well. I know that there's a lot of things that's been going on in the world, but this is a 1 hour or 45 minutes of your time that I wanted to be able to enlighten you, to show you somebody different, to share some hope and share expertises, especially from somebody who is a very, very young person in their 70s. And you say, Lizzie, what are you talking about? Well, it depends how you look at it. To me, 70 is a young. My mom just celebrated her 80th, and I am so proud of her. So, yeah, I am so honored. Thank you so much, Authors Den, for this platform. We're able to bring special people from all walks of life, from all over the world, from Canada and the United States and Europe and Australia, everywhere. So thank you. Without you guys, this could not be possible. You guys are everything to us. So thank you. So let me give you, before I bring our special guest to join us, give you a little bit of an overview. We're going to be speaking to Dennis Boisvert. He is an incredible storyteller. Wow, yes, storyteller. One of the things that he was telling me on the background there, that he's the type of person that starts many projects but doesn't seem to be finishing except with this time. We're going to find a little bit about that. He is in his young age, 70, like I said earlier, born and continuously to reside in Rhode Island. Incredible. I hope you're in for a treat. I hope you're taking your sip of your cup of water, your favorite drink, and enjoying us, because he has written an incredible book. It's called Ghost Lips from Trickster. This is Civil War, and give you a little bit of a background on this story. I don't want to give the whole thing away, because I need you to tune in and purchase this book. Sergeant Victor Peters breaks away from rebel prison and trains running from soldiers with dogs closing fast on his heel. Look at the writing on this book. This is going to be incredible. Hopeless, lost in deep wood, about to be caught when suddenly a ghost vision of a drummer boy who was shot was morning lashes before him, pointing away to Step Hills. And that just gives you a little bit of a teaser what this book is all about. I know we're going to be talking to him. He's going to tell us, the inspiration for this story. He's going to tell us how long he's been a writer, and all that good stuff. And if anything, I want you to be able to check it out. He's going to tell us where to find the book. He's going to tell us what readers can take from this book, and much, much more. So let's welcome him with a wonderful round of applause. Hello, Dennis, and welcome to Author's Den. I am Lizzie. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thank you for letting me on the show.
Yeah. Well, thank you for, being so willing to accept the little challenge. I know that writing a book is one thing, but being out in the media and talking about yourself, sometimes it might not seem as comfortable as you being at home and being able to create and writing and let other people know about you. But sometimes, when you get that little teaser of fame, this is the stuff that you need to do. So Dennis, tell us a little bit about, you are a storyteller and you started many projects and you love to start the project, but one of the things that you were telling me in the background is that you don't seem to be finishing them all. You want to be able to get everything on the go, but not a lot of things get done, an exception with this project. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Now, you grew up, question number one, I'm going to give you a little bit of a list. You were born and raised and still reside in Rhode Island. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Beautiful. So as a little boy, Dennis, I know we're going to go back a little bit farther, but as a little boy, were you creative? Did you like writing? Did you write stories? Or would you have that gift of just telling this story? How did your love for writing begin?
Okay, I actually started off drawing. I was like really good at drawing. And then sometimes when I watched a movie, I would, when it was over, I would say, I didn't like the ending, and this is how I would change it.
Yeah, I've known people like that. I actually live with one. If I were to write that movie, if I were to come up with a script, will be exactly the story. However, the ending did not fit. I can completely understand. Yeah, you probably will do it a much better job of finishing a story. So that's how your love for writing began. It's just you saw a need of getting the public or getting the audience a little bit more engaged. I hear you. One of the things that I love about your book, Ghost Lips from the Trickers, A Civil War. Where did you get that inspiration to write this book?
Okay, I had a relative that fought in the American Civil War. And then I had my father and uncle. My uncle was the one, his father fought in the American Civil War, and I must have been about 10 when they told me. And suddenly something that was so far away, or in years past, was suddenly new. And suddenly I took an interest, and I had to know more what was the Civil War all about. Americans still today, still trying to figure that one out.
So you were pretty intrigued of knowing a little bit more about the background. So an uncle actually gave you that inspiration to do a little bit of research and figure that you can actually write this book. And the outcome, what does it feel like now that this book is published, that this book is out there, that people are reading? I'm looking at some of the reviews, and it's pretty incredible. How did it come out the same way you expected it to be, or better, or do you think that there is more to improve? You watching movies and seeing that the end was not perfect. How does it make you feel now that this job, this task, I know that you have many, is complete?
Well, one of the things I read, I read a lot, everywhere I could on the Civil War, and I read about this Union soldier who escaped from the rebels, not necessarily from a prison train. And then I thought how he fell in with Confederate deserters who helped him get to the Union lines. And then something just popped in my mind like a week later, and he says, what happens if he came across what I call, I guess there's lands that was in the South that was not under control, and that will back up with the book or movie called Cold Mountain. And so there was no really government function. So I started to think, what happens if he came across these witches or these people that were doing spiritual things? And that now I had to go read about these different occults. And I came across interesting passages. One of the ones was, I don't know, it's very famous in America. It's called the Fox Sisters. And they pretended there were ghosts around. And I started reading and folklore. I kept going on. And one of the things I came to conclusions about ghosts, they're not necessarily scary, revengeful, and all that stuff. They actually may be people that you love, that you sometimes, I've heard people say they saw their mother or something. I kept coming across things, and I come to realize ghosts, if they really exist, they can't talk. So, they don't have vocal cords. So I felt you could read their lips. So I came across about women, slave women who escaped, and then I said, how about them two come together? And suddenly things just started to fall into place. And then it was actually a story about a guy who had to get home to his daughter because she was ill, and the wife was sending these letters. I left it out. I don't care if you desert, just get home. And because he had nightmares like the girl had nightmares. So he told the daughter a secret, and the secret was that he was going to come home alive. It was kind of a little bit obvious. I didn't put it out like that. But and as I started reading, I came across. I kept going back into the Crusades. I started reading everywhere. I read books every different directions. And then I came up with an idea that how these women, well, I had the slave lady who was named Thelma, how she came up with her powers. And a lot of her, in her background, her father was a slave master, and then she was actually a brilliant person, and he was a rare books. The first sections that were taken from scrolls. Then I started reading. I started going, and I came up with ideas. I did not put it fully in the book, but I came up with ideas that there were proof that life existed years, like civilizations come and go. They just vanish and no one knows why. So I had the feeling there were people on this earth going way back years ago, and they keep coming up with proof on that. I think one of the oldest archives in the British Museum is called Swimming Deers. And you look it up, and it was like they don't even know how many years it is. So I figured human life existed, and they may have wrote down how they existed before their civilization came to an end. And they may have had what I call herbal medicine. And as you know, the dinosaurs disappeared, so I started to feel that might have happened. I did not put that deep in the book because I felt it's a story about a Civil War soldier who has to get home, and he comes across these women who, it was just strange. He looks out the window, and they're dancing around a campfire. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what are they doing here? It's like stunned. He happened to fall into something. And as you remember in the very beginning, what happened is that a drummer boy, the train has been stopped because the Union Army came across the Confederate train. Mm-hmm. And when in the morning, they had to go on the ground. All the Union soldiers had to put their face into the dirt. And then for some reason, the drummer boy stood up, and everyone was telling him, get down, and Confederate guards shot the boy, and he fell right into Victor's hands. And Victor was looking at his eyes, and when he died, something happened to Victor. I call it it's called, in sports, they rise to the occasion. Something happened to him. And when he was escaping, the ghost of the boy was helping him in the directions where to go. And suddenly then, eventually, the Confederates have these men with dogs. They're chasing him. And he's coming up with the right decision all the time. And he noticed up in the sky there's a crow flying above him with other crows, and he couldn't understand, well, they keep flying. Never mind, the boy's eyes keep popping up. There's something spiritual going on. And
wow.
I
noticed that, sorry, Dennis, I know that you decided to keep a lot of things out of the book. Is it, I don't know if it's on purpose or this, it wasn't enough time, or the book was going to become too big, or perhaps are you thinking of a sequel for this book in the future? And the other thing I'm thinking too, how about a movie? Like, wow. So two questions. Do you think you want to have a sequel in regards to the ghost lips of the Trickster, the Civil War story?
The agent that has my story brought what you just said up. They're now preparing a, they call it a screenplay, and they had asked about the sequel.
Wow.
And yes, okay. See, I have a belief that I believe there's a spirit world that circles the earth. In the history of the human race, we don't even know how old it is, but what we do know is you take like the Egyptian pharaohs, how they existed, and they believed in different gods. So there's something there, and it wasn't until the Old Testament and then the New Testament came along, and I had a complex with dealing with a Christian world and coming up with a total different belief in what could be. So I kept it like up in the air. So when someone comes across, hey, there might be something there. I didn't want to go into it because the Union soldiers were very, very religious.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to say, I don't know how. I tried to keep it as close to the way they lived too. And I also believe, if you remember Genesis, that, when God created, I was just talking about the earth. When God created the earth, of course, he wasn't standing on it. And I felt he made it something like when you make a snowball, with his hands. And some places he touched that was really more like no healing problems, had better
that's an interesting way of putting it. I've actually never heard it that way, and it makes a lot of sense. When created the earth, he was not standing on it; he was looking over. That is interesting. Dennis, one of the things that you're very intriguing. So yes, we might have a sequel, guys. Wait for it. So yeah, a sequel is definitely in the works, and the play. What I was reading it. I did not know this until I asked Dennis the question. One of the things that I don't want to forget, because you're not going to notice that time goes by unbelievably quickly here to Author's Den. So very, very important is to let the audience to know where can they get this amazing book.
Okay, I have discovered. I read, like I said, I read so many books. Half of them I already I forgot the titles. I had read that, and this actually happened. The guy who talked about World War I, and he talked about letters that soldiers wrote home to their parents and had visitation of their deceased brother or deceased uncle telling them, don't worry about death. Don't be fear it. And these guys would go charging across the battlefield and get, that they were like slaughtered. So that opened my eyes to that. I says, is that possible? And then I talked to people who work in nursing homes, and they say some of the people that are were near deaths say that they had were in communication like with their lost husband or something, or vice versa. So I'm starting to think there might be something, something there. It's not conjuring up. You're not trying to bring up a spirit. They're coming there. Now that could be just a dream. There could be an explanation for that. A dream,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It could be some kind of dream. But I was fascinated, and I kept coming across, and people without asking, people would tell me, I knew when my father went to the hospital, I knew exactly when he died. I'm like, and then I actually read about the sea, and they had storms. There was one in 1852, and some of the women knew their husband died in that storm. That was miles away.
Incredible, isn't it? That is incredible. Yes, and I've heard many stories like that as well, and absolutely. And guys, just wanted to make sure that you don't think that this is a religious show. Absolutely, we're able and we are free, thanks to the freedom of speech here in North America, to discuss several and various topics. And this is what is bringing to us right now with an incredible author, Dennis, and he is a writer of Ghost Lips from the Trickers, A Civil War. Now, this is definitely a book that it's that's what I wanted to ask him. It is inspirational, but Dennis, what would the writer or the reader rather would get from the book? There's a lot of intrigue situations. What are the responses that you're getting from people that have read your book? Just a couple.
What I liked was the ex-slave lady, Selma, who ran away from her, father, master, whatever. And he thought she was inferior. But when he had to translate, he felt that she could translate the words but wouldn't understand it. So I like the idea that, sometimes some people that the human brain is more advanced than we think. And she managed to understand the scrolls that were written, that they have been retranslated, such as out-of-body experience. I actually had someone tell me once they had one, and I just got through reading a book not too long ago about a Polish soldier during World War II, got shot and a bullet went right through him, didn't cut anything, and he said he had an out-of-body experience. So I'm starting to feel it is possible that this could be done. And you notice I had a little story in there about the girls who snuck away from the knights who stole this from the crusade. The book is all over. The book is all over the place. There's a little story in it. There's like little stories in the stories that's in the story.
Gotcha.
So these girls put these oils all over themselves so they could step out of their bodies and find where the knights hid the scrolls. I thought that was cute. There's like little stories inside.
A little bit of gimmicks and a little bit of comics there. So everyone, you can get your book, the copy, right from Amazon, Amazon.com /Ghost Lips Trick Civil Story, and we will have the links for you to be able to get your own copy, and that way you can see it for yourself and give us a little bit of feedback here on Author's Den. And obviously, sequels are the sequel is on its way, and also a play, which is incredible. And one of the things that I love asking with this, people are getting different story from within the story, so that's pretty cool. What are you planning, Dennis? What are you planning for the next story? It's just a sequel. I know you mentioned previously that you are a storyteller and you have many projects on the go, but I guess it's a little bit of a challenge because you're 100% miles per hour here, and it's hard to focus on one because you have so many good stories within you. But is there anything that you're working on right now? Anything else, rather?
Yes, well, I have one that's science fiction. It's I have another Civil War story, but it's different. And the sequel, is that we would work on the scrolls. Way it ends. There's another set now. They have to Victor and the this other ex-slave woman has to go look for it. The sequel could be is that they don't find it and somebody else does, or Thelma lives. You notice that in the book that she has these powers because there's this beast that's in there. She has this, she's a trickster. She can do things. There's like a lot of magic in there. And she can leave her body and enter a bird, or she can enter this terrible beast that protects her group. She was actually a nice person who wanted to heal people, but hunters came looking for her animal, for the animal that was trying to protect her. And now she's, and due to the fact that that there was an attack against her tribe, now she unleashed the animal, and the only way to escape is that Victor is the only one who can try to help defeat this beast. So it's like little stories in the stories inside there. He's a man that rises up. As you notice he talks about how he saved these people on a boat, on a ship that was sinking. I mean, it's like a little story and another little story. To add them up, you'll start to see Victor is a man above his means and doesn't know it.
Wow, that's something. So Dennis,
so
one
a lot
of the
of
things,
people like that.
Yes, it's true. Absolutely, Dennis. A lot of people like that. Absolutely. When it comes down to family members, friends, right? I assume that you are your career. I don't know if I should say career, but your life as an author maybe wasn't always like this. You probably did other things in your life. I'm not sure what they are. Well, what do they think, knowing that you've a published author, like you have a book that people can go on Amazon and purchase their own copy written by you? What do they say? Does anybody know that you are an international author?
Most of them, as you know, today we're money conscious. I did this, I had this story. And I kept going over it, and I said, this story, and there's a story in it, there's like a little romance story, how Victor met his wife, about, there's something about astrology, the stars, then and all that stuff. So I said, well, there's a lot in here. I should get this out, maybe, somebody might like it. And, of course, family, thinks, I tell people, they, right, and then, of course, in their mind, the first thing that comes, is like, how many books they sell, stuff like that. It's the way human nature is.
Absolutely.
Not interested in that. My interest in is have people like it. That I'm like opposite.
Absolutely. Yes, you want to be able to reach people somehow in a certain way. You want to be able to share some of your stories with the world. And I can guarantee you, Dennis, not everybody is going to like your story. But then again, you are probably would like to pick and choose, if you could, who will really appreciate your gift and who will really appreciate your stories. And I can guarantee you this world is pretty big. Thanks to the internet and thanks to social media and the Authors Den, we are going to support you 100%. And that's what we're here about, because there is somebody who's listening today that will say, this is my cup of tea. I want to get read into, immerse, and devour every letter, and this is what I love to read. So absolutely. So guys, again, the book is on Amazon. It's at amazon.com.ca. I can see it here from my side of the woods, and so U.S. and Australia and all over. So please go ahead, get your copy. And if you happen to mention that you heard it via the Author's Den radio station or radio show or podcast, that our job is done. This is what it's all about, to be able to inspire you and to be able to help you, especially in times like this where people are so concerned about what's going on in the world, and they want to be able to have a little bit of time where they can imagination just soar and just read something fun, something that will probably take them out of their worries and concerns of every day, again, especially that where the world is going. So one of the things that I know, maybe you are not the proper person to answer this particular question, because you were telling me that you love to storytell, but you have many projects you start but you don't finish them. But I'm still curious. I'm still going to ask you, for somebody who is listening to us right now and it's on the other side of the world, let's say, I don't know, Africa, and they're listening and they're seeing you talk about your many stories in this book that has been published and people can get it at Amazon, and they would like to write their own thing, whether it's fiction or whether it's real, Dennis, what kind of advice would you give someone who is on the other side of the world to start writing their own thing? What kind of advice? I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Okay, this is a historic story. It's actually historic. And people back then believed in this seance and all that stuff. So I believe if you want to write stories, try to get something that's historic so that people will go back to that time to see what it was like, if you know what I mean. Because the Civil War, I'm surprised that more hasn't been done. Mrs. Lincoln Todd had seance because her son passed away in the White House. I'm surprised more hasn't been done on this of this time. There was a spiritual world because of the Fox sisters, and and Sherlock Holmes. Houdini had to shut down Sherlock Holmes' wife because she kept coming up with seances saying it's false. So stick to something that's like historic, that people want to know what's really happened in that certain situation. I hope I got that through.
Yeah, good advice. Absolutely, there's not enough. There's not enough out there from Civil Wars. There's not enough out there from actual life stories, that things that have happened. People focus too much on the, mysticism sometimes, or even the make-believe. How about dig into something that not a lot of research has been done? And yes, absolutely, people are curious to find out what did really happen in this occasion, what took place, why are not people finding about? But I am curious, so that's a very good advice, and I really appreciate you sharing that with the audience, because I can guarantee you there is somebody out there that is looking for answers, and nobody has maybe the time. You maybe have a little bit more time than others, so you have that opportunity to do that research. And doing research is always good for the mind, is always good for, neurons that are still developing and they're not being used. You said it yourself that our brain has huge capacity that is not being utilized to the fullest, right? You reiterated that with our audience. So, to take advantage of that and learn more. Why not? What's wrong about learning? Absolutely nothing. So wonderful. Again, the book, guys, can be found in Amazon and Amazon.com. or .ca or .es or .uk. And the book is called Ghostless from the Tricksters, a Civil War Story. This is incredible, Dennis. This is incredible. I believe it or not, time is just flying here, but it's been a lot of fun, and you are incredible. I think you have a lot to give to this world, and you have your gift is very, very important to a lot of people that are listening to us right now, and they can get a lot from your book. Any last word, my friend?
Yes. If you want to write something, there might have been something like, let's say you just happen to have lived near a power plant, and then it shut down, and it might have been some kind of like chemical leak or something. To give you an idea, it's something that's historical that will say, hey, this is the reason why this happened. And I do believe that some movies came out about that. I think I can remember a few of them. So you get something that's like, and also something like family historic. And there are religious books that I like where somebody, I call it a miracle that happened. There was one year where the girl I think she got stuck in a tree. I can't remember that one now.
Yes, I saw that. That was that.
Yep.
I saw that movie. Very, very good. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yes, that's what I had in mind. Is something there's like, we live in this spiritual world, and miracles do happen.
Absolutely. I believe that 100%. I believe that 100%, Dennis. And again, you love writing your stories, and you're very intrigued for what you see and what you experience, and answers that hasn't been answered. You want to be able to answer it. And sometimes it's not to please the whole world or to know or to let the whole world that you know stuff. But if you have questions of something, I can guarantee you somebody else on the other side of the world has the same question. And, you're being able to answer that. Sometimes it gives, just a little bit of peace of mind, and say, okay, this is what happened, and this is why it happened. So I'm glad that somebody wrote about it, and that is incredible. That is incredible. Dennis, as always, it's always a great delight, a pleasure, and an honor to have a young 70-year-old with us, sharing your story, sharing your book, sharing your knowledge, and your expertise, and absolutely just to say to the world, just because you are in your young 70s or 80s or 90s, the world has stopped, your life has stopped. Absolutely. Keep growing, keep learning, keep researching, and keep learning, because if you're not supposed to be gone yet, there's a reason why. And I know that that's your reason, your calling, is for you to be able to tell your stories that is going to help or is going to entertain somebody on the other side of the world. So this has been great. So thank you so much. Again, everyone, the book is Ghostless from the Trickster, a Civil War. It is found in Amazon. If you have any questions, or if you have any concern, or if you would like to write to us or comment on the author's date, please do so. And if you got the book, just let us know. Because of this talk with Dennis, I got the book. So thank you guys for your support. This is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be right back, everyone. Yes, it's a pleasure. Okay. It's a pleasure. Just hang in there. I'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to another exciting episode of the Author's Den podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of our future episodes. That's all for now. We'll see you next time.